Robbie Williams Rewind.
Welcome to Robbie Williams Rewind. We are the champions. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lucy.
And along with help from special guest fans, we take you on an in-depth rewind through the solo career of multi-award winning singer, songwriter and entertainer Robbie Williams.
Today, on the 20th anniversary of Rob playing Knebworth, we have a special guest fan to join us for a unique episode. We're excited to have Anto Carroll on the show. Not only was Anto fortunate enough to take part in Rob's Something Beautiful video, but he was also lucky enough to go backstage at Knebworth. So while we wait for Rob to release new music for us to talk about, we thought it would be interesting to hear Anto's memories from 2003.
Hi Anto.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Great, yeah, we're looking forward to hearing your story. So before we get going, in case you've forgotten, Something Beautiful was the third single to be released from Escapology on the 7th of July 2003, which weirdly is the date that we're recording this.
Yeah.
Strange.
Wow.
Strange things going on here. The video was directed by James Tonkin, a music documentary creator. It was based on a pop idol theme that was massive at the time, for those of you that remember that. Fans all over Europe tried to impress the judges, who included Rob's dad, Papa Pete, by doing their best Robbie impersonations. Anto was one of those fans.
So tell us, Anto, how did you hear about the Something Beautiful audition and what made you want to take part?
So as you say, it was 2003, so we didn't have smartphones or anything back then. It was actually in the newspaper. I don't know if it was The Sun or The Star or one of those, the tabloids, and I hadn't read it. Somebody just said to me, "Oh, look, they're doing auditions over in the Excel Centre. You should do that, because
In London?
in London, yeah."
Yeah.
So it's just beside the Thames there. I'm sure you are familiar with it, but yeah, They said you should go. So a friend of mine, she's a very good friend of mine, said to me, "Look, I'll go with you. Let's fly over. What? There's nothing to lose. It'll be a bit of crack if anything." So we flew over that morning and started queuing up. The queue was already quite long. There was definitely over 1,000 people in the queue to audition. It was, you can see in the video that the camera kind of pans the queue, but it was a lot longer than it looked in the video. It went around the corner and up hills and everything. So yeah, it was crazy. It took, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours just to get in the door before you even do your first audition, and then there was multiple rounds of auditions to kind of get down to the last 10. So it was a long day, but a very enjoyable day. And with Robbie's dad, it was great. Robbie was on tour at the time. He was in Italy, but he had a recording on the TVs when you got into the Excel Centre, welcoming each fan, just saying, "Welcome to the audition for my next video, and I'm in Italy at the moment, and glad you can all make it. Thanks for being there, and enjoy it." And just making everyone feel, even though he couldn't make it himself, he made it his place to be there. And I thought that was a nice touch, arriving, coming in the door nervous for an audition and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, yeah.
Amazing. So were you just a big Robbie fan?
That's it, yeah. At the time, I was just a big, massive Robbie Williams fan. I started to take that, I suppose, first. But when he broke solo, I just became a Robbie fan instantly. I just liked his kind of the courage it took for him to do what he done when he left. The first few singles, people were kind of slating at one stage. I loved some of his first. I loved All Before I Die. I thought it was a great tune. It's actually one of my favorites. I know Angels kind of solidified his solo artist career, but some of the stuff before that was exciting, and not just his songs. It's the way he personified himself. And, you know, when he was at music awards or when he was doing interviews, I always found him very entertaining outside of the singing. And he always had banter in him. And yeah, I think that was a big kind of attraction for me to Robbie as well, is that his banter side and the crack, as they call it in Ireland here, the crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie has Irish roots as well. His granddad, I don't know if it was his granddad or his great granddad, is from Kilkenny. The second name was Farrell, which is a very popular Irish name. So he has the banter and the crack in him for sure, you know. And
That's true.
yeah, I've been drawn to him since he went solo.
Yeah.
Instant thing, I don't know. Yeah.
So tell us more about the audition day. What time did you think you arrived?
We arrived. We flew in on the first flight out of Dublin that morning. We arrived, I think, about 8:00. I'm trying to remember, was it Saturday or Sunday morning? It was the weekend anyway. We instantly joined the queue, which was already incredibly long. And then once you're in a long queue like that, you get chatting to the people in front of you, you get chatting to the people behind. And there was a guy standing beside us. He was actually already doing a Robbie Williams tribute act at the time. Can't remember his name now, but it was good to have a connect. Like, we instantly connected, and you know, we chatted the whole time. And my friend and his partner were having their girly chats all the way through the day, and we were just having the kind of banter between ourselves. And yeah, I mean, the people continuously joining behind us. The queue was crazy. There was a lot of people there, a lot of females as well. I mean, it wasn't about being a Robbie Williams tribute act. It was about being a Robbie fan, you know, turning up and just showing us how much of a Robbie fan you are. You saw people in girls in Port Vale kits, and Rebecca, actually, that turned out to be in the last three. She was wearing a tuxedo, I think, as well, similar to what I was wearing. So there was a mixed variety. There was people of all characters, and male and female. It was just a really fun day, just to be in that. It wasn't like just standing in a queue trying to get tickets for something. It was a fun day being in the queue and seeing the different characters walking around and stuff. It was great.
And so did you have to go through several different rounds? Like, who did you see first when you went in?
Yeah.
What did you have to do?
At first, the first round, you went in on your own. So they bring about 10 in, and they'd let the first one go up, and you'd be in front of Robbie's dad and two other judges. And they'd have a song playing. You wouldn't have a choice or anything. And you just had to do some sort of a dance or an impersonation of Robbie to impress them and make them think he's a big Robbie fan or she's a big Robbie fan. So I had the tuxedo on, and I had my head shaved at the time. And it was something beautiful they had playing, actually, for the audition. And yeah, I mean, they do about 5 or 10 at a time, and then they turn around at the end, and everyone gets told, okay, you're through. So I got the nod, and I was like, oh my God. And then I got brought in a lift up to the next level of the building. And then people that didn't make it through just went out a different door on the same level. So I went up, and then you start seeing more people coming into that floor. And then they brought us into a room to do a second round of the same thing, and they narrowed it down. And then eventually it came to a stage where there was about 20 of us. They brought us into a room where there was like a dance floor, and Robbie's dad and the other two judges just sat beside it, kind of like the X Factor, you know, just you're in the square. But they put on Let Me Entertain You, and they just told everyone, just be what you want to be, just do your stuff. So we're all on the dance floor kind of zigzagging around each other, performing in different ways. And yeah, it was quite surreal. And then they asked each of us to go up to the microphone in front of them and speak for a couple of minutes just about where you're from, you know, why you're here or whatever. So at that stage I was exhausted. I was so tired. I was like, I'm Anto, I'm from Dublin. I flew over at dawn this morning, and I'm so tired right now. I can't even think of what to say, but I'm so happy to be here. And Pete was there, and Rebecca. So Pete Caruana, I'm sure you know that was in the video. That was victorious in the video competition. He was there, and yeah, it was great. And then we all just kind of stood back for a while. You could see the judges looking at all our photographs and discussing everything, and then they called out the top 5 from that last batch, and 3 would appear in the video. We didn't know at the time how many would, and I was 4th, so I just missed out. Yeah, I missed out by one spot on being in the 3 that were part of the video, and they got to meet Robbie as part of the video at the bus stop and scene and stuff. So it was kind of a lot good at the time, but I got over it. I was just happy to be part of it and just to have my face in the video, which is still, you can still play, anytime you want. It was on MTV. I had guys emailing me when I was in work saying, they were off one day and like, you're on MTV all day. They're replaying his new release. This was pre-YouTube or anything like that. So yeah, it was an exciting time. It was, I think that's when I started to really get an inkling for doing something myself in terms of a tribute act.
Right. Yeah, so you've been thinking about doing that, but
for 20 years. Yeah. I went to Australia then after that for a year and a half, so I kind of put the dream to the back of my head. I was only 20. With the video, I was 23. I went to Australia then in 2006 for a year and a half. I came back. I've just remained a Robbie fan throughout, and anyone that knows me knows how much of a fan I am. And probably anytime there's a few drinks involved, I'll be doing something that will involve a Robbie Williams song, whether it's in the pub or in someone's house. And sometimes everyone loves it. Sometimes go, right, we know. But, it's like it's just instilled in me, and that's why it hasn't gone away. And I'm like, okay, I need to do something about this. And obviously, I've met him since then. I met him on an Irish talk show, The Late Late. So The Late Late is it's the Friday night show. It's the Jonathan Ross show of Ireland, basically. So Robbie was on that when he released Party Like a Russian.
Oh, yeah.
So he was on for an interview. I was in work that day and someone tagged me. Again, somebody else pushing me towards something I didn't know about. If you send an email into the production company in Ireland called RTE, you send an email to them why you deserve the last 2 tickets. Because the tickets are not tickets you can buy. This TV show, everyone sends in emails to be in the bucket. And then they get selected random weeks and they don't know who's going to be on. But sometimes when there's a big guest on, they reserve like 2 or 4 seats and they put in a competition or something. So I sent in an email with the whole story of being in Something Beautiful.
But missing out on meeting him.
But I hadn't met him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call while I was in work saying you've got the last 2 tickets. So I came in. I went in that night. I brought a friend who's a massive Robbie Williams fan. Her name is Nicola. I won't say her second name. And we sat in the crowd and he came on. He done his interview. He sang Party Like a Russian. And it sounds a bit bold what I'd done, but I couldn't resist the opportunity because I said I'll never get this again. So while he was singing, I came down the steps from my seat and just waited at the front row. And I had a picture of an article that was in the TV or was in the newspaper about me being in this video. And when he finished, I just ran up to him and gave it to him. And he said, "What's this?" And I said, "I was in Something Beautiful." And he gave me a big hug and a tap on. But it just made everything worthwhile that I finally got to meet him. It was crazy. It was surreal. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I never thought I'd get to meet him. It was on my bucket list, but just to get to physically meet him
Yeah.
It was a dream come true, and I'm glad I took that risk. I mean, I could have been arrested afterwards, but I didn't care. I didn't care.
I'm surprised the security didn't try and
Well,
let you
there
sit
was
back
a few of
down.
them pointing at me when I kind of hunched down beside the front row, the last seat, and I could see him 5 feet away from me there, and then I could see guys behind him going, "Get back to your seat," you know, and I'm like, "No,
Worth the risk, right?
arrest me after. I don't care. He's only there. I'm not missing this," you know. And nobody grabbed me before he finished, and he was a bit shocked when he saw me first coming towards him, which I wouldn't blame him for. But yeah, he saw the article and he went, and he appreciated I was a true fan then, and he was embracing it, and it was nice. It was cool.
Oh.
And so did Knebworth follow that, or
how does Knebworth fit in?
No, Knebworth was 2003.
3.
This
Yeah.
was-
So did you get to go because you missed out? How did they set?
So Knebworth followed
backstage
Something
at Knebworth?
Beautiful video. So
Yeah.
put the chain of events in order. We had the Something Beautiful auditions, which led to being asked to go over to VIP at Knebworth.
Oh, cool.
And then skip forward to Party Like a Russian Days was the RTE TV show. Yeah.
So what did they invite? Like the final 10 or
No,
20?
they actually, for Knebworth, they only invited Pete, Rebecca, and the German guy actually got third spot. But Rebecca kept in touch with me and said, "Look, they've given me 2 tickets for VIP, so why don't you fly over?"
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So thanks to Rebecca, I got to go to Knebworth, which was
I love that.
amazing occasion backstage. Robbie didn't turn up on the day backstage. We were in the hospitality area and he was filming, which became the Knebworth DVD. I'm sure you guys have seen it. He was filming for that, so he didn't get to come out and mix with us. But Max Beasley popped out for lemonade and a banana. And there was Ant and Deck were sitting there enjoying themselves. Wayne Rooney was there, Edith Bowman, Tamsin Outwait, myself and Rebecca sitting kind of going, "This is what it must be like to be famous." Wow. And I had actually had a chat with Max. I was getting a beer at the bar and I was chatting to Max for a few minutes and I said, "Is there any chance, I know you said Robbie's filming, he's not coming in here. Could you just sneak me back in there just to get a photo?" He said, "I'd love to," but he said, "I can't. You know, I just can't." Today, the Sunday, they were recording everything and Robbie was kind of tied down for the day. So, unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him at that stage, but it was an incredible day. Surreal.
Wow.
So where did you actually watch the gig from? Did you watch from like in front of a stage or side of stage?
So it wasn't side of stage. It was, so we went into the area that would be considered, I suppose, the pit, but it was quite big at Knebworth. We got shuffled in from the hospitality tent when it was already full because we stayed there till Robbie had come on. So we weren't up close to the stage, which is why I was glad the DVD came out after so I could watch it properly. I didn't have the best view, but I mean, neither did Wayne Rooney or Teddy Sheringham. They were standing beside us at the time. We were kind of on an elevated hill looking down. It was a nice view, but it wasn't the front row or the side of the stage. It was a bit away, but I didn't mind. I was just buzzing. I didn't care where I was.
To be there and to do what you did must have been so incredible anyway. And to be out the front and see the show as well just must have been the icing on the cake.
It was unreal. And to get the DVD released after and buy the DVD with the extra footage and everything on it, you know, I still have it there in the cabinet. I watch it from time to time. And you guys were at Knebworth as well, weren't you? One of the nights?
Yeah.
What a
Saturday
gig.
we were there.
I mean, you'll never be at a gig with that kind of crowd and that kind of atmosphere, I don't think ever.
No.
Never again.
I still loved Robbie's recent tour better because it was more intimate and you were, closer and you could see and hear everything better. But for a kind of a festival, Knebworth was just, it won't be topped.
No, it won't.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
And I've watched Queen. I think they're probably the closest. I watched Liam Gallagher at Knebworth. I wasn't there, but I've watched on YouTube, and that was really, like, Knebworth has this capacity to just host amazing gigs. But there was just something different about Robbie's. It's his stage presence. It's how he engages with the crowd. It's not just sing song after song, a little joke here and there. Robbie's like a pantomime. It's like an act. Yeah. It's like a drama. Yeah. It's like a play. And everyone engages. Even if people are not fans, they come out fans. People come with their girlfriends and they're going, I have to go to Robbie tonight. And they come out as Robbie fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not,
that's true.
If you haven't been to a gig, you won't realise the experience and you will come out a Robbie fan. There's no doubt.
It's very true. Very true. I mean, and as well, the stage was so massive. I mean, the audience was massive, but the stage was enormous as well. And there's not many performers that can fill that with their presence.
No.
And obviously he did his very best to fill it. And he said on some of the nights, he was absolutely shitting himself.
He was.
But he has a great way of not showing it when he's on stage.
And there was multiple layers of that stage. I mean, he was going up and down ramps at the back.
Yeah.
And he was out at the front in the area. And then he was going to he covered every square inch of that stage. I don't know. It must be the adrenaline. Like, I know he's fit when he comes to gig time. He gets match fit, but still. The adrenaline must push you that extra mile. How he does it.
Yeah.
So, did you enjoy dancing around and moshing about with all the celebs then?
It was great. Yeah, it was good crack. It was tiring though. God, I slept that night. I tell you, and I stayed in Rebecca's. So, actually, I have a funny story. After the gig, we went back into the hospitality tent, and the lady that plays the DJ in Rock DJ was there, and she was actually DJing in the tent. And then some of the celebrities came back in, and we had there was other celebrities that I hadn't met that day. Casts from the cast of EastEnders and stuff like that were there. It was like you're sitting down at a table, and everywhere you look is somebody that you know from the TV. And it's like, this is a bit crazy. But then we had to go because Rebecca's dad was outside and he was calling, and it was an hour's drive or something from Knebworth. And then it took us about an hour to get out of the place to get into the car. So we kind of had to leave when it was still fairly rocking. But look, no, I don't regret anything about it. I had a boogie with Tamsin Outweighed actually from EastEnders. Just before we had to leave. Rebecca had said to me, she keeps looking over here. I said, no, she doesn't. But I got up dancing anyway because we'd had a few beers at that stage, and I was up having the crack. And next minute, Tamsin Outweighed appeared beside me. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. You can take that bit out if you have to. But
I think we're leaving that.
She appeared beside me, and she was getting quite close and comfy. It wasn't the slow music, it was fast music at the time, but it was cozy. It was setting up for a good night. But I had to
no, what a shame.
Yeah, Rebecca said we have to go. I was like, do we really have to go? Well, my dad was outside in the car, and look, it was about 12 o'clock. It was late enough, so I wasn't going to argue.
You managed to escape quicker than we did.
Yeah.
Because we were still sat in the car at that point.
Oh, really?
Oh, we were there till 4 a.m,
Some place to get out of or even into.
Yeah, we didn't leave the gate of Knebworth or the gate that we were at until 4 a.m, did we?
No,
That's the time we got on the road.
I think it was actually more like 4:30.
You can see why the celebrities land in a helicopter in that venue.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
There's no other way
No.
for them to do it.
Even in an armored vehicle, you're going nowhere. You just land in the helicopter and take off, and you're gone.
Yeah.
It's the only way. The next time I'm going to Knebworth, I'm going to hire a helicopter.
Did the other celebrities come by helicopter? I thought it was only Rob. That
No,
did
it was just I only saw Robbie landing anyway. And I remember when he landed. Obviously, everybody was looking at the RW helicopter landing, and then where the hospitality tent was, there was like fencing, but you could see through it. And he got into like a black little Jeep thing and drove from the helicopter just past where we were sitting into the back of the stage. And I remember with my little camera click of the Jeep kind of going by. I must send it on to you. It's funny, but you can't make him out. It's blurred because the Jeep is moving.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that would be the closest I'd ever get to Robbie at that time. I thought it was great that I'd been in within 10 feet of him. You know, because he wasn't, obviously I'd heard later on he wasn't coming into the hospitality section. So I thought, well, at least I got a photo of him being just there.
Yeah.
And you've got some cool photos as well with some other
Yeah.
people.
Ah, yeah,
So if you don't mind, we'll share those on the website
Absolutely.
as well, so people
No problem.
listening to this episode can go and take a look at Anto and hanging out with all those celebrities.
It was good crack, all right, for sure.
What an experience. Such a historic gig to be at, but to also be backstage as well. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something
I
you're
think
never
it's
going to forget.
more when you reflect on it now, you realise how lucky I was to be there, because you're so caught up with obviously the video was on MTV and people were talking about that. Then you get the tickets, get invited over, and you're excited about it, but you don't realise how momentous that gig was in terms of not the enjoyment of the day, but in Robbie's career. He always talks about Knebworth being the point where he realised he'd made it and that he was a superstar, effectively.
Yeah.
You know, to be part of that.
His imperial phase.
Imperial, that was it. I was thinking about that word. Yes.
Yeah, he certainly is.
And so what's happened since then? Have you've obviously, you've told us you're a fan, you've continued to follow him.
Yeah.
Have you kept up with all the albums and tours and shows and things?
Everything. I've been to every gig in Ireland. I've been to one of them, every time he's played Phoenix Park, the Aviva Stadium. Before that, it was called Lansdowne Road, the Point Depot, which is now the Three Arena, the recent one.
That's a great venue, the Three Arena.
It's cool. It's a good setup. It's very intimate.
Feels intimate in there. Yeah, feels like a very small room. Even though there's a lot of people in there. It feels as though you're right next to him.
Exactly.
There's not a bad seat by the looks of it. Not that we've ever sat in there.
No.
I don't think
we use down in the circle, the pit for
right at the front.
A friend of mine actually, she had gone on the Saturday, and she was asking me to go with her on the Tuesday, but I was already going in with my daughter on the Tuesday, so she ended up dragging her mum in with her. But she didn't care as long as she got in to be in the pit, because she had seen from the seats how good and close the pit area was, that she said, I'm going to get tickets for that Tuesday. And she went in a second time and she loved it. She had a great, and her mum enjoyed it as well. Even though, it took a lot for her to have the energy to stand for the gig. She said her mum had a great time. But like, she couldn't not have a good time at a Robbie gig, even if you were kind of sat down just against the wall looking from afar, you'd still enjoy it. You can't not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the latest tour? You've been to see 25?
25 is the tour that I'm talking about, and that's the one that was my favourite tour so far.
Yeah.
Really?
The Heavy Entertainment show was great. The Knebworth tour was brilliant. I'm trying to remember the name that tour was. The Heavy Entertainment tour was in the Aviva in Dublin. I thought that was brilliant. But I just think the XXV one has been, because it tells his story, it's intimate, it's engaging, it just draws everyone in. and the songs are the best of his career. I think he chose the songs well. I think including the Take That stories and singing a little bit of one of their tunes was fun, and the kind of remix of No Regrets I think is brilliant, where they bring the trumpets into it, and the laser lights and just everything about the show. Even the album, like there's new versions of the songs. Some of them I thought I preferred the original. I think No Regrets was brilliant, very well done. I just thought that would be my favorite tour. I don't know. What about you guys? What was your favorite of his tours? It's hard to pick because they all have their own special.
Yeah,
it's kind of like picking between your children. Can't do it. We have enjoyed this tour. I mean, must admit, we really enjoyed it for the reasons that you said. I think because it is so intimate and it tells his story, and I think we even said to him, didn't we? We were chatting with him about the fact that we said, look, it's really good because you do tell the story, and actually there are people, like you say, there's what he calls the swinging voters that come along that don't necessarily know his backstory, that only know the hits. And I think it's good for people to understand a bit more about him. So I think from that perspective, it's a really good one.
And he kind of jokes with those people as well on the night. He always picks one out. Whether it's a boyfriend, a partner or something. I thought it was funny.
He knows.
The Isle of Wight festival, I was watching it back on TV, and a guy with a cowboy hat and a long beard.
Paul,
wasn't it? We were just round the corner from him on the barrier.
Oh, no way. What a squad.
Yeah.
But he brought him into it, and he carried him on for about an hour with engaging with him. It was so funny,
yeah.
But that's the way he is. He's just the ultimate performer and showman, and the way he engages with people, like I don't know, he's incredible.
So have you got a favourite Robbie song?
Come Undone is my favourite song. When it came out even the first time I heard it, I loved it. I fell in love with it, and it's still, I don't know, it kind of resonates with me in different ways. It's a real emotional song, and it kind of makes you think about your past and stuff, and probably mistakes you've made and things you've pulled through and stuff like that. I just find it, and it's great live as well. The video I thought was his best video ever. The party at the pool in the little party house place, and I think that's Come Undone is my number one song. But I have lots of favorite songs, but that will be my ultimate one.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And what does Robbie mean to you? This is a question that we ask all our guests.
I suppose he means the world to me. I mean, I've not just because I've followed him since he started. It's been, I suppose he's been on my life journey as much as I have his. Ups and downs, different things that have happened, and all his songs, I have different memories from each of his songs that he has released. Different memories of his albums. When I think of an album, I think of a time in my life when it was out and what I was doing at the time, and I suppose the way his life has been through ups and downs up till, I suppose, when he met Ida. So we have kind of similarities in terms of an adventure. Your life has been a bit of an adventure. It hasn't always been where he's at now, but he's always pulled through it, and I've been through situations that I have pulled through, and the fact that he's such a good performer, like I just look at him in awe, and I'm just like, I want to do that. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I want to do that. I'll never be like Robbie or famous, but I would love to be the best tribute act to Robbie that there is. Now, I don't know of any in Ireland. I know there's a good few in the UK and probably through Europe, but I'm going to knuckle down. I've given myself 12 months. Just recently, I'm going to get some vocal lessons with somebody really professional to improve as much as I can on that side of things. I need to lose a few pounds, I think, but mentally, I have a performance from start to finish in my head. I can do it. I just need to get some vocal lessons, get some more training, keep myself fit, active, healthy, and get the equipment I need to work on, and practice. You don't get good at anything if you don't practice. And
no, exactly.
I've given myself 12 months. This time next year, I hope to be not doing festivals, but starting off gigging. Whether it's a pub gig, solo, with just backing tracks and stuff like that. I mean, you have to start somewhere. That's my target.
Yeah.
And then if things go well and I can add, backing dancers or musicians to that act to increase, to do weddings or summer kind of festivals and stuff like that, that would be the ultimate goal. But I don't want to look too far ahead. I want to see how the small stuff goes first. But
yes,
the motivation is there. The skill set is there. I know I can do it. I just have to actually take action now because I've been putting it off for way too long.
Yeah. Sounds to me as though you got it round the right way, Anto. I do a bit of business coaching in my role, and we always say about envisioning that future state. So it's good to envision that future, seeing yourself doing it, but then also, like say, taking those small steps, setting yourself those small goals and achieving those. And then when those start to happen, it starts to roll, and, wish you well with that.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And look, I'll keep in touch with you,
Yeah.
We'll stay friends after this.
We'll come and see you when you're on stage somewhere.
Yeah,
when we're in
and
Ireland.
hopefully I come and do a gig in London sometime as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch this space is what I'll say for now.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's been lovely having you on the show.
It has.
It's been amazing hearing your story and casting ourselves back to the Something Beautiful video and everything else that you've done in between. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
How long ago that video was? 2003.
Oh,
20 years?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we all haven't aged a day, have we?
No. We're like Benjamin Button. We're going backwards. We're getting better, younger, smoother skin, everything. That's why I put off the tribute act, because I knew this would happen, and now I'm going to be ready for it in a better way.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've transitioned in a good way. I'm ready now.
And we'll follow your story, and let us know how you're doing. And
please do,
keep up with us on the socials, and we'll do some reposting for you, whatever we can do to help you get going. So
brilliant.
So, just before we wrap up this episode, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. And also, Lucy and I would really appreciate it if you can leave us a star rating. You can do this on both Apple and Spotify podcasts. We would also love it if you could write us a short review, and you can do this on Apple. Don't forget, you can check out our episode notes for each episode and links to all tracks and videos at robbiewilliamsrewind.com. You can also email us at email@robbiewilliamsrewind.com. Please also follow and chat on our social channels. It's @RewindRobbie on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. And you can also like and follow our Facebook page, Robbie Williams Rewind. And before we return to this episode, you might also consider sending us one of your own Robbie stories for the show. Just record a short audio clip on your phone and email it to us. Please check the website for more details. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
So thanks for listening, everyone. We've got another interview recorded with someone who's been absolutely critical to Rob's solo career since the very start.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get that edited, we'll release that for you. So yeah, we've got another episode coming up as soon as we can.
And we're also in talks with quite a few other collaborators. So stay tuned for more to come, and fingers crossed we'll get some new music soon. We've heard a little, maybe 1 or 2 rumours in the grapevine that might be happening.
Yeah.
As well as the Netflix documentary and Better Man.
Yeah.
So
Still plenty to
the
come.
tour's happening, but there's lots of other stuff happening in parallel. And we'll bring you as much of that as we can on the podcast.
All right. Well, thank you, Anto.
Thank you, Anto, so
You
much.
guys.
It's been really
It's
great.
been a pleasure, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, we'll do. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
guys. Bye-bye.
Robbie Williams Rewind.